You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and man, just like any other time, we have an amazing show lined for y'all. We have our guest, Chad Austin. He is going to share with us all about his fitness journey, and he is the owner of a business. He does amazing things with his clients, over thousands plus of clients that he's been helping with their fitness journey. He's been on many platforms, on many media outlets, just sharing the knowledge of not just health, but being strong, being in the gym, working out, exercising, and all the benefits in between. So first and foremost, I just want to tease the audience a little bit first. You are the owner of Priority Fitness in Overland Park, Kansas. You've been in the industry since 2003, and you have a best-selling book that has won awards and has been recognized on many platforms. Make fitness a priority. So first and foremost, Chad, thank you for your time, man. How you doing today?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this.
Well, I know you've been able to build a very strong brand. So before we get into your business, kind of tell us and our listening audience, our viewers, what got you interested in just being fit, getting in the gym, and just paying attention to your fitness journey?
It's kind of it's really one of those feel good stories where just everything kind of happens for the right reasons. You know, when I went to college, I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to keep competing. So I went to college and wrestled, and then PE seemed like an easy major. So I went that route, and I was a coach and a teacher, and I loved doing that. But I thought that personal training was actually going to be just kind of a temporary stop for me until I found my next teaching job. And it turned out to be just a better fit for me. And I kind of realized maybe a few years into training that I was always attracted to exercise because it was my best medicine. Like, I dealt with a lot of social anxiety and depression growing up, and it's not something I ever really dealt with. And I think exercise was always my best medicine to handle it. And I think it's just one of those things where when you notice that about yourself, when you really realize that, it really shines a spotlight. When you find out what you're doing that is the best answer, it shines a spotlight on everything you do that was the wrong answer. Everything I've dealt with, everything I've done to cope with problems, or whether it be overeating or drinking or anything that wasn't healthy, that was the wrong answer. But then exercise and nutrition was what made me my best self. And I think once I realized that, it really fueled my passion to help everyone else realize that about themselves too, that exercise and taking good care of yourself, taking good care of your health is really the answer to make you your best self.
And so I noticed you mentioned about college life. You started to pay attention to the opportunity that, hey, I might be able to make this a business. Was that something that you may happen during college, shortly after college? What was the timing like for you when you say, you know what, I can bring clients on and maybe eventually turn this into a brand?
You know, I think it kind of helped. It started with kind of just a desire to help people. And then the impact was definitely more important for me first and forefront, and then the money, the income came secondary. And I think I've definitely had to remind myself that, as any small business owner or entrepreneur knows, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's no smooth sailing with anything, just like any goal. There's no smooth sailing to the finish line. There's some ups and downs in there along the road. But that's one thing I always have to go back to and remind myself whenever those times come, is that you focus on the impact, and then everything else comes after that. When you have a heart of helping someone, that's really the answer to success, I feel like.
And you name your business inspired by your book series, and that is what we mentioned earlier, Make Fitness a Priority. What was the timeline when you were writing, and what was that process like trying to get your material, your books published?
Yeah, it was really a work in progress for a while. You know, when I started my own business after working for a company as a trainer for several years, I realized that I need to kind of get out of my comfort zone and become more social if I really wanted to make the impact I wanted to. And so I joined Toastmasters to work on my public speaking. And as I was working on it, all my talks were about fitness, and I kind of found a hidden passion and something I was good at in speaking. And so I knew I was going to write a book, but I knew it was going to be about long-term success with fitness, but that was about all I knew. So I started with an online poll question. I just created a poll question. I asked as many people as I could, what are your top priorities in life? And the top answers I got were family and career. It's like faith was always a popular answer too, but by far family and career. Nobody said health and fitness out of everyone I had asked. Even the people that knew I was a trainer didn't even think to answer that. And it really took me down this hole of just learning about how we react to that. Like whenever a change happens in our life, which we go through tons of them, where we change careers, we grow up, we move, good things happen, bad things happen. Whenever these things happen, we're really good at adapting when it comes to our family and our career. But we're terrible when it comes to our health. Fitness always becomes a thing we're going to get to later. And so that's what Make Fitness a Priority really came about, because I realized that, you know, fitness for me, like I said, it's my best medicine, but it's just kind of a learned thing. I just kept learning over and over again that when I take good care of myself and I'm doing all the things I know are important, I'm a better husband, I'm a better friend, I'm a better son, I'm better at my job, I have more energy, less stress, just everything. It overflows into all areas of my life. But on the opposite side of that, and then, you know, if I don't take good care of myself, really the opposite is true. I become kind of the worst version of myself. And so it doesn't matter what your answer to the question is, what are your top priorities in life? I don't believe you'll be able to show up as the best version of yourself if fitness is not a part of the equation too. So the whole book and the whole movement about priority fitness and making fitness a priority, it's just to help people realize that even if fitness fits different than it used to, you have to figure out how it fits in your life so that you can use it as the vehicle it's supposed to be to drive you to be your best version of yourself.
I like that. And once again, talking to our guest today, Chad Austin, you can go to his website. It's real simple. It's thefitnesspivot.com. Again, that's thefitnesspivot.com. We're talking about his whole fitness journey and being his own boss, having his own brand. When you mentioned earlier about you being an athlete in the college days. My question for you will be, do you see that people with a more athletic background who play sports earlier in life, do you see that they have a little bit better discipline to have fitness as a priority in their lives? And if so, for those who may not have that sports background, what's some small steps that they can take to kind of adapt to that lifestyle?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a difference for everybody. There's definitely some athletes that have a tougher time later when their life is different and their workout is not the same as a workout was before when they were an athlete and had all the time, because they have a tough time getting past the I'm too busy excuse, because really what they mean is I'm too busy to work out like I used to when they had all the time to work out like an athlete. And it's almost like they have this bar in their head where if they do less than that, it's something they'd be ashamed of. It's not doing enough. And so that means they don't have time to do it, because doing less means it's not important, and that's not true. But it's a tough barrier for us to get past sometimes. So I think really there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to fitness, and I think you just need to know that whenever you're starting your fitness journey or restarting, depending on where you're at, it always starts with defining what is your definition of fitness right now. And so I think that question is something every time we go back to answer it, our answer may be different, because fitness may mean something different to you now than it did 10 years ago. But it has to start with, what does fitness mean to you right now? And then you can figure out how it fits and go from there. But it's as we change, as our life changes, as we go through life, you know, fitness fits differently. Fitness means something differently than it did before.
Now, a lot of times you see on social media, everyone's making the posts of them working out or exercising. And for those who might just be a little bit serious this time, you know, I promise this time I'll do it in 2025, right? New year, new me. And they might get intimidated when they see posts online. They see everyone like they just look amazing on their journey, and they're like, whoa. I don't know if I can do it. And a lot of times people they stop before they even have a solid start. What would you say has been a great tool when you work with a client to help them focus on where they are themselves versus trying to compare their level of fitness to someone else that they see on social media?
Yeah, that fear is a real thing. In fitness, we have a phrase that we hear a lot at this time of year. It's like the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door. Like it's just, the start is the scariest part. The start is what stops most of us, because it's just the pressure, and especially this time of year with New Year's, there's just expectations that you have to be perfect or you fail. Like the second you make one mistake, it's over. And that's ridiculous. If you're getting ready to start, if you're starting now like you should, or if you're waiting till January 1st to start, whatever you are for yourself, you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be a day that no matter how good your intentions were, or a week how good your intentions were, that you missed a workout or you fell off track with your meal plan. That doesn't end your fitness journey right there. You don't have to wait till next year to start over again. You didn't just fail and ruin your New Year's resolution. That's an impossible bar to set for yourself to be perfect. It's always going to be one step back, two steps forward. And so whenever you do make a mistake, just know that, failure is part of making fitness a long-term part of your life. Just understanding, just like you do with work or with your family or your relationships, any other mistake you make, you're going to look at it. Okay, how can I do better next time? And you're going to get back on track and learn from your mistakes. And really, you have to approach fitness and making fitness a staple in your life with the same kind of mindset.
Once again, you're watching and listening to Refocus Radio and watching us on our YouTube Refocus Network, talking to our guest, Chad Austin, all about the fitness pivot. You can go again to his website. It is thefitnesspivot.com. Again, that's thefitnesspivot.com. I want to get into with someone like yourself who's been in this industry for a good while. You understand, not just as an athlete, because you still are an athlete, but just having that background as an athlete as well is beneficial. When you look at the form techniques and how that plays a role in safety for people who are in the fitness world, especially those who are beginners and are amateurs, what was some of the fundamentals that you believe people should really take heed to understand that bad form is really dangerous, and you don't want to just try to see how heavy you can lift, but actually kind of understand the process?
Yeah. And so there are some exercises that look easy, but take a long time to learn the technique. And there's probably some that look really hard, but it's actually a lot easier than it looks. And so doing it right and putting yourself to where it doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you're doing it well enough that you're not going to put yourself in jeopardy of being hurt is important. So if you have never done it before, I advise to get some instruction, to find a trainer, find a coach, find a buddy that knows how to do it and then you can learn from. That is important. But I would also know, I think as far as injury goes this time of year, most of those happen around January 1st because we have this problem where our impatience takes a hold of us, and we go back to this saying where you could go back and say, I'm not where I am because I keep trying to start where I wish I was. And that's one of those things you can keep reading over and over again, and it's just such a good thing. But it's just I'm not where I want to be because I keep trying to start where I wish I was. It's like if you haven't been working out for 6 months, but now your motivation is at its peak and you're about to really hit it hard, you can't pick up where you left off the last time you're in good shape. You have to start where you are right now. Yeah. There's no shame in that. But if you don't do that, if you don't have the strength to start where you are right now and rebuild yourself, and who's going to get a lot of business is the chiropractor near you because you're going to hurt yourself. And so you have to be, so part of being smart and learning how to do it all is just starting where you are and building yourself up.
And for our listeners and our viewers, someone who wants to work with you there in the local area where you are, what does that process look like? Do you do any kind of screen to kind of ask them some questions, like where they at on their level and ability to work out and exercise? What does that process look like for them?
Yeah, I mean, and I work with all different types of fitness levels and fitness goals. But really, my strength really is helping people figure out how fitness fits in our life. So as life changes, how fitness fits in our life is different too. And if you're in one golden rule that you have to follow is that what you do for fitness has to fit in your life. If you're trying to force something in your life because you want to get so fast of results, but it doesn't fit in your life, not only is it you might get temporary results, but it's not going to last because if it doesn't fit, it's not going to stay there. And while it's there, it may hurt the balance of your life with your relationship and your job and everything else. So what you do has to fit. And so what I do first with most people is I help them figure out, I go through a cleanse and reset coaching call with most people. And basically all it is it's 2 30-minute calls. The first call, I help them redefine what fitness means to you right now. What's your definition of fitness? What does fitness mean right now? And then so it helps you figure out your goals really without there being an end in mind. And so it helps you figure out kind of what you want out of fitness right now. And the second part is how does fitness fit in my life right now? So you take a look at your schedule, your family's schedule, your wife, your kids, your work schedule, all your things you're committed to, and you take a bird's eye view and say, okay, where does fitness fit? Realistically, where is this going to fit and how can this benefit me the most? And we go from there. And I have tons of online resources. So if you don't live in the area, I can still help you. And the Fitness Pivot, we have an online community as well. And the biggest thing we do for people is we help you build your consistency. So we have monthly accountability challenges. It's all free to be a part of, but we'll help you stack days so you can build your healthy habits up and learn from each week and keep getting better. But thefitnesspivot.com, that's a good place to look. And we'll also share the fitness community in the show notes with us too.
With our viewers and our listening audience, a lot of them are about peaking at about 25, 34. And we kind of hit all levels, though, as far as the age groups, even the elderly as well. When you look at helping those who are older in age, they might be shy to go to the gym, or, anyone can be shy actually to go to the gym. A lot of people might want to work at home and exercise. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you try to teach them who would rather do workouts and exercises at home, and especially if they're elderly and they can't get out as frequently as they might want to? What are some of the things that you try to give them to help them still be active at their house?
Yeah, and there's no judgment. There's no shame in that. There's a lot of people the gym can be very intimidating, but whether that's the reason for you not to want to go to the gym or the crowd, or maybe you just prefer working out at home. I have my own home studio. I use it a lot. And so whichever category you fall under, we can help you out. But we have basically pathways. And so, like I said, what you do for fitness has to fit you. Not only has it fit in your life, but it has to fit you and what you like to do best. And so we'll first figure out where you'd like to work out. So I have different programs. I have one that's called No Excuses, and that's basically all body weight exercises. So if you have no equipment to use, then you can just use your body. That's good enough. And then there's one that's called Home Body. So if you don't like to go to the gym, we can help you do all your workouts at home, and we can even help you build your home library of equipment if you want more than you already have. And we have one that's called Gym Rat. That's if you do like to go to the gym and you're an extrovert, you like the gym environment, that motivates you. And we can, of course, customize it more to you too. But no matter where you're at and what fitness level you're at, we can help you. And so it doesn't really matter if you're at 24 to 34 and you're kind of figuring out how fitness fits in your life right now, and you're officially a grown up and you have your first job, or you're starting your family, or whatever major changes you're going through, and you're having a tough time figure out how fitness fits now that your life is changing. Or if you're in the older end and you're realizing, okay, fitness means a lot different things to me now. It used to be about how my body looked, and now it's more about how my body feels. No matter where you are, we can help you figure out what fits best and what your goals are and the life you're living right now.
You're listening and watching Refocus Radio online, and you can see us on refocusradio.com. Make sure you go visit the website. We've been talking to our guest, Chad Austin. My next question will be food is very important, man, and we can't skip on that part. With your experience and the knowledge you've been able to gain, knowing how important nutrition, food is in part of this process in the fitness lifestyle. What's some of the tips and tricks you're going to share with us? Because there's always somebody dropping some knowledge online. But as far as your personal experience, what have you seen to see is something that kind of works for you?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is that, like you said, there's a ton of information about nutrition. Every time you think you've learned everything or you got all the tricks for the perfect diet for you, there's going to be more stuff out there. And so it can be very overwhelming. And you definitely have to follow with the guideline that if I'm trying to do everything at once, I'm going to probably end up doing nothing. Yeah. And so the idea is just to add a few things at a time and go from there. So first with people, I always make sure you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you're someone that skips some of those meals, I would start by just understanding how many calories you eat. You might just start logging your calories and making sure you're eating 3 meals a day, hydrating yourself with drinking. Most people are not drinking enough water, so start drinking more water. And then I have a process I go through with everybody that's called throw out the temptation. And so it's an exercise I give to people when they first start. And all it means is you're gonna get rid of the temptation. You're gonna set yourself up for success. And so if you know you're gonna start eating healthy, if you know you're gonna do that, then you probably also know some of the unhealthy things you're eating. And so you can go through your fridge, go through the pantry, and get rid of some of the things that you know you shouldn't eat and go replace it with things that you know would be better choices, just to set yourself up for success. We have all kinds of justification why we keep those things in our house, but you're just setting yourself up to fail if they're there. And so that's the first thing I would do is throw out the temptation to set yourself up for success. Water, eat 3 meals a day. Start logging your calories so you know your number, just like in anything with your bank, with your checkbook or anything else. You can't improve it unless you know where it's at. So you got to first figure out where it's at, to be honest with yourself. And then the last thing would be to try to eat real food. And so cut out some of the processed foods. And so a lot of times that means just sticking to the outside of the grocery store, the fruits and vegetables, the meats, the dairy, the bread around the outside. Stay away from all the processed foods in the middle and start spending more of your time on the outside aisles.
A lot of people see the trending prep meals that people push online that you can order. Is that something that you see is one way to do it, or do you still think the grocery store, the fresh food aisle, is something that we can probably build ourselves and gain that knowledge?
I think it's a great thing. There's a lot of really good programs. I've used it before in the past, but it is a luxury. So it does cost money to do it, and so and for many people, you may not have the means to keep it up for a long time. Or I would say majority of people may not have the means to keep it up for a long period of time. So I would, if you can do it, great. It is very helpful. It makes things convenient. The more convenient things are for you, sometimes it's easier to build habits. But I would also learn some important habits as well. And so I would also invest in yourself to kind of learn what healthier habits, what eating healthier means. But this is a good way to jumpstart your success. If you can afford one of the meal programs around, there's quite a few of them out there. There's always seems like there's more and more options out there, which is good. So hopefully as they keep getting more and more options, the price of them will keep going down too.
We've been talking to Chad Austin. You go visit his website. It is thefitnesspivot.com. And before we sign off, we have about a few minutes left. I want you to touch on, for our viewers and our listeners, any particular future events or offers, additional resources that you are providing or plan on providing. If you can, take a little bit of time and talk about that.
Yeah, so thefitnesspivot.com, that's where you can find me, and my accountability group, the Fitness Pivot Accountability Group, that's a great place to get started because community is so important. You want to be able to, if you're trying to change your habits and improve healthy habits, it's important to be around people who are on the same mission as you. And also not only that, but they will celebrate your wins with you and not dismiss them. If all the people you're surrounded by are not on the same mission as you, then every time you try to celebrate your wins, they may dismiss them. And it's just just going to demotivate you. You're setting yourself up for fail and not long-term success. So the accountability group will help you start building some habits. And so I'd highly recommend, it's free group, just to jump in there and let us help you build your habits. We're going to be doing a webinar on the 14th of December. That's a great way to get your mind in the right place, but it's the vehicle that drives us to being the best version of ourselves. And so in that webinar, it's my talk. It's the one that's kind of just perfected over the last 10 years, my own evolution as a trainer and learning really what the purpose of a personal trainer is. And I'll be sharing 3 of the most important lessons I've learned in my 20 years in fitness. But it'll be my personal kind of jump start for everybody as they go into the new year to get you off to a good start.
Well, if you listen to this, please don't make it like the other years where you're like, yeah, new me, I'm going to be a better me. No, like, just stick to it, because I think a lot of times we focus on the rewards versus the actual work that it takes to get those rewards. So before we sign off, if you can give an encouraging word for those who might just be starting their fitness journey and they haven't done it in years or they never done it before, what's something that they can hold on to as an encouragement every time they get up to either exercise, work out at home, or go hit the gym?
Yeah, well, just know that, like I said earlier, it's the start that stops most of us. Because, I mean, that's one thing we don't want to admit, but the beginning of anything is scary. Change is scary. Starting something new is scary. So the best thing to do is just start with some small, non-intimidating steps. You know, make an appointment, or if you're go to the fitness pivot, or go to my accountability group and just get a free account started. Get started, or get a gym membership. Make a commitment with a workout buddy to go and work out. But just a start that you can do that's non-intimidating, that can just action is what helps make that anxiety of the start go away. Just getting started is going to help make that anxiety go away. And just know that while you're going on this journey, you don't have to be perfect. There's lots of pressure this time of year as New Year's resolutions are going to start being called out and everything, that you're going to hear all the stats about how everyone's going to fail on their New Year's resolutions, and you don't fail. It's a mistake does not mean it's over for you. All you have to do is just remember, I'll give you the wise words my dad always gave me growing up whenever I messed up in sports. And that was just, it's what you do next that counts. So it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. What matters is if you let that end your journey. So just learn from it. How can I do better next time? And get right back on track.
Well, you've been listening on Refocus Radio, watching us online on Refocus Network, talking to our guest, Chad Austin. Go to his website, thefitnesspivot.com. Make sure you take action today if you're real serious and you want to have someone like Chad by your side to help you get through this process. Enjoy his online resources, and if you're in his local area, hit him up and see what he can be able to do with you. Once again, go to thefitnesspivot.com. Like always, Chad, I want to say thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.